everybody, and welcome to That Wrestling Show, the podcast where all pro wrestling matters. And this is going to be a fun episode because not only are we previewing an event, we're also reviewing a Coliseum video.
We are.
Yes.
Most of.
And this is Fro's.
This time I have actually seen it.
Yeah, this is Fro's first ever Coliseum video he's watching, and we did get a suggestion for this. So we'll thank that individual a little later on. Plus, we're going to talk about The Masked Singer. We have a brand new segment that is debuting as my Xbox turns itself on.
Mm-hmm. Because that's what an Xbox does.
Yeah, turns itself on.
Mm-hmm.
But let's jump right into the news, and I think the big story this week, the official announcement of WrestleMania 37. It is all set. Mark the date down. Sunday, March 28th, Los Angeles, California, at the brand new SoFi Stadium. And WrestleMania will be going Hollywood. Even though it's in Los Angeles.
Okay. Weird.
Yeah, it is. I don't know. I guess they're figuring LA is Hollywood.
Maybe.
Yeah. But I mean, this was one of those announcements we were expecting at some point, and I know it was either going to be this or Las Vegas that was going to get the next WrestleMania, so it doesn't really surprise me that LA is getting another WrestleMania. But what makes this interesting, and I'm just pointing this out to everyone, when we get to that WrestleMania, it will be on the 30th anniversary of WrestleMania 7, which also took place in Los Angeles. That was the one where they tried to sell out the Los Angeles Coliseum. Couldn't do it because they said there were terrorist threats, quote unquote, and they ended up moving to a smaller venue. So,
right.
But yeah, the date, the location is set. Los Angeles is going to be getting WrestleMania 37 next year. So we got a long way to go. We still got to get to this year's WrestleMania first. So.
Mm-hmm.
But no, that is pretty big news to report there.
Are you excited for this year's WrestleMania?
So far, I am, actually.
I think it's going to be better than last year's, but then again...
It has potential.
A lot of WrestleManias has the potential as being better than last year's, because I did not like last year's.
I don't know how you cannot like last year's. Well... We have our different... Well, I mean, the way right now it's set up with Brock and Drew, and then Randy and Edge. I never thought Randy Orton would get me so pumped up for a potential WrestleMania match.
I know. Yeah, I know.
I think right there, those two sell me this WrestleMania already, and we don't even have the full card.
I mean, this week in wrestling... this is why I'm talking about it. This week in wrestling got me to understand how near we are WrestleMania, almost. Mm-hmm. Because there was so much, build-up to WrestleMania this week.
Yeah. It has the potential, if they set everything up right, to be one of the best WrestleManias ever.
I mean, what I remember of last year's was that it was long and boring, and I did not especially enjoy it. That's more or less what I remember. No memorable matches that I can think of, nothing.
Not even the Kofi Daniel Bryan match.
Yeah, I guess that's the only match when you say it now.
Right.
I remember it, but it's like it's not deep in my memory.
That's understandable. Of course, I think the difference for you and for me was you saw it when it happened. I saw it the next day because I was coming home from New York.
Right.
And that's like the first WrestleMania that I missed watching live in like
many years.
Yeah, like almost 15 years. So
right.
But no, that's a fair point. That is a fair point. So
but I do think I think there of course there is a time bias, as I call it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I call it that because I'm watching this in the middle of the night, and if I'm watching something in the middle of the night, it has to keep my attention through and through. And when your WrestleMania is 18 hours, it is kind of hard for me to like.
But it is true though. They have been long these last few WrestleManias, so.
But I still remember the Daniel Bryan WrestleMania. Like that's in my mind is one of their better modern, and I'm calling it the modern WrestleManias of all time.
I mean,
it is one of my favorite WrestleManias of all time. I just loved it. I mean, it was just so good.
When you and Jason and I, when we did our list for the best WrestleManias of all time, we each had WrestleMania 30 somewhere in the top 3.
Yeah.
Which tells you how good of a WrestleMania that was.
Right. It is awesome WrestleMania.
It really is.
So which number is this? Is this 35?
This is going to be 36.
36, okay. Yeah.
36. But of course, for some reason, Vince McMahon does not want to have the numbers next to WrestleMania.
Right.
It's like, oh, it's getting old. Let's get rid of the numbers.
Yeah.
The numbers.
I love that he thinks that kind of is how it works. But no.
Death to man.
But no. I'm going to say it right now. I think Raw and SmackDown got me interested in WrestleMania. I will say that.
Raw was good this week.
I really liked Raw this week. Yeah, it's definitely my top 3.
And then in a SmackDown tonight with the date of Otis and Mandy Rose.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, just from the
I'm looking forward to that.
Just from the montage we got last week, it's like, okay, this can be good.
Right. But they are doing some what I would call storytelling tricks that gets me interesting. I'm not sure about the Lana thing. I still am not sure about that. But it seems like it's going to go for, how long is it now? Is it in April WrestleMania is, right?
Yeah, we got about a month and a half.
Right. So 1.5 more months of
if it goes to
WrestleMania,
if it makes it to WrestleMania, I will applaud you, sir.
I do think it will. I actually do think it will.
I think the best thing. The best thing. Sorry.
Yeah. Come on.
No, I was gonna say. I think the best thing to happen to that storyline right now is that it's taken a small break.
Right. I think there will be a intergender tag team match. I think that's
possibility.
How they will solve it with Rusev
and Liv Morgan,
and Lana.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Liv Morgan on one side, and Lana and Lashley on the other.
That's very possible. Yeah, I can see that.
Probably is going to happen. That's what I think.
Now, I did read a rumor And again, this is a rumor. I'm not going to confirm this in any way. We could be getting a dream match at WrestleMania.
Right.
Between two of your favorite wrestlers. There is a chance we could see AJ Styles versus The Undertaker this year.
I kind of hope it is true, because that's the rumor I have heard as well.
Yeah.
But then he needs to lose.
Who, Taker?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then AJ...
Because then it would actually mean, like, if he wins, it's giving us a sign, okay, this will happen again.
Yeah.
If he loses this time, it's the third time he loses, and there's no way.
Right.
Just no way. That's my personal thought about it.
Be very interesting to see what happens. You know, that this is why this is the best time of the year to be a wrestling fan. Just going on this road, you have no idea what's going to happen. It's getting there.
Especially now that I feel like AEW has kind of... I'm not going to say they have lost it for me, but this week I did not feel that show at all.
Well, I think there may have been a couple of factors into why it, may not have been as good, because they were saving up for next week, and next week was a loaded show, especially with the cage match being the big seller. So, although I gotta say, my favorite line this whole week was from Raw after Becky Lynch got bit, and she's being checked on, and all I'm thinking to myself, this is the nerd in me, because I'm thinking of the line from Monty Python and the Holy Grail, where the Black Knight gets his arm chopped off, and Arthur's like, "You're bleeding, just a flesh wound," and then
just a flesh wound.
Yeah, and then Becky, she screams at one of the paramedics, "It's a flesh wound!" I'm like, yes!
That is a very good reference. No, but it's the same thing with NXT this week. NXT this week was supposed to be this super grand show with all the titles on the line and things like that. Did you like NXT this week? I didn't.
I'll be honest with you, I think they were hyping up for next week's show as much as they were for the Sunday show, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah. Right.
So I think, because, next week you've got a Cruiserweight title match, Lio Rush and Jordan Devlin. You have Velveteen Dream against Braun.
Oh, I'm so looking forward to see Velveteen Dream again.
Those two matches alone could have been on this upcoming takeover.
Right.
But they're going to be on NXT next week, so... Right.
I know. And when is the... I'm not going to watch it, Saudi Arabia show is this weekend?
No, it is 2 weeks from now.
Okay.
Actually, I'm sort of glad we're talking about that and NXT Takeover, because I was going to save it to the end of the show, but I'm going to do it now. We got our first Patreon. Yeah.
Pew, 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 pew.
And I want to thank Michael Givens, who not donated, but he is contributing $5.
Thank you, Michael.
That means that come Monday, and this is why we have the best plan. The top tier is $3. So if you put in $3 or more by Monday, you can get an exclusive review of NXT Takeover Portland before everybody else hears it next week.
And you will hear a very cranky and very sleepy Fro.
Well, actually, I'm off Monday, so you're not going to be that cranky.
Oh, good. Okay.
And then when the Saudi Arabia show comes, I'll do that review by myself, because we did have someone pledge $3 or more. So if you, like I said, if you are interested in donating or pledging, patreon.com/That Wrestling Show, believe me, you're gonna get your money's worth with these reviews and stuff. I think
because I can tell you now, we are not going to say anything about the Saudi Arabia show on this show.
No.
As long as I am here.
Exactly. Which is why that is going to be like an exclusive review that is only going to be
really exclusive.
Very exclusive. So,
very exclusive.
Because when I have to complain about how Goldberg beat The Fiend for the Universal title in 2 weeks.
Yeah, because that's definitely going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. The other big news this week is from New Japan Pro Wrestling. They actually made two big news stories this week. The first one is they will be back on primetime television in Japan starting in April. They are going to have a weekly show at 8 p.m. in Japan, Friday nights on BS Asahi, which is the satellite channel of TV Asahi. So they're going to be on primetime TV in Japan. That's big news over there. The other big news is, and you might want to mark this date down for those who haven't heard, Saturday, August the 22nd, New Japan returns to Madison Square Garden for a New Japan show. It is not co-promoted. It is all New Japan Pro Wrestling, and they are holding a show called Wrestle Dynasty. And what is interesting about this is that it will be held on the same day as the NXT Takeover the day before SummerSlam. That's pretty big. And according to reports, Wrestle Dynasty will be on the same scale as Wrestle Kingdom. So we're going to be expecting some big time matches, I think, on the 22nd of August. So we might be fighting over what we watch on August 22nd. Well, I mean, not fighting, but will be an intense discussion between now and the 22nd of August. So, have to see what happens. But no, that's cool news. I mean, I was there last year for the G1 Supercard in April at Madison Square Garden. That was an unbelievable experience. If you missed that opportunity, I would say go to it. It is worth it. Worth the trip. So. Okay, let's get into legal news.
Legal!
Teddy Hart was arrested earlier this week. He was arrested in Richmond, Virginia, and is, as of this moment, currently incarcerated at the Richmond City Jail. According to court records, Teddy Hart, real name Edward Ellsworth Annis, yes, that is a real name, Annis. So, he is charged with possession of a Schedule III narcotic and possession with intent to sell or distribute. According to Virginia law, possession of controlled substance is a Class 1 misdemeanor if it is punishable with up to 12 months in jail and a fine of $2,500. Possession of that controlled substance by a prisoner is a Class 5 felony, punished with up to 10 years in prison and a $2,500 fine. According to swangolaw.com, that's actually a real site, the narcotics that fall under Schedule 3 in Virginia include anabolic steroids, ketamine, codeine, and hydrocodone. So Teddy Hart's going to be in Virginia for a while.
Yeah, I guess so.
Good old Teddy Hart. You can always rely on him getting in trouble.
Maybe he will make a double tag team match.
Oh man, I just hope he doesn't have that cat with him in jail. Oh dear God, that poor kitty. The other legal story that we're going to talk about actually has a very interesting twist. So, down in Mississippi, Brett DiBiase, who is the son of WWE Hall of Famer, $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, he was arrested in Mississippi for being a part of a scam where they made over $4 million.
Wow.
Now, here comes the twist. Ted DiBiase's ministry, because he is a reborn Christian, has gotten $2 million. Yeah, not good.
That is so funny.
So I guess it is really true to say that everybody has a price.
Money, 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 money! Money! Money, 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 money!
Money! Why don't we take a break from news and talk about The Masked Singer this week?
Let's.
Because this was the final showing for Group A before they get to the what do they call it, the Elite Nine or
the 9 something.
Yeah, something 9. I don't remember.
Yeah, let's talk about how they freaking screwed the monster over this week.
Oh yeah.
What a devastating thing to do! I was like, what? The literal F is going on. I have no clue. It is so weird. So weird.
So they started the show with the 4 contestants doing a group song because, being Valentine's Day, or about to be.
I like that.
And what a better way to do it than by singing a Kiss song? So my first thought was, oh, okay, they're going to sing Beth because that's a ballad. They're
right?
Sing...
No.
They sang Rock and Roll All Night.
But it was totally okay.
Now, did you notice during that performance we didn't get to hear White Tiger sing?
Yes, I did notice that. And why is that? I wonder. Let's talk about it. Okay. Turtle sang There Is Nothing Holding Me Back by Shawn Mendes. Miss Monster sang You Don't Own Me by Leslie Gore. Kangaroo sang Diamonds, very beautiful, by Rihanna. And White Tiger sang...
Is it really singing on this song?
You Will Rock Me by Queen, because I'm not sure if he sang. Yeah.
Now, something to keep in mind is when they did, the clues this week,
right? Each
contestant had somebody important in their life talking about them. One of them,
and who was the girl again? I always forget her name. Leah Remini. Yeah,
Leah Remini was the guest judge this week. So the Turtle had his high school teacher talk about him.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Monster had her hairdresser talk about her.
Mm-hmm.
Kangaroo had her brother. Okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And the White Tiger had his college buddy talk about him.
And you can do many things when you disclose somebody's voice,
Mm-hmm.
but it's very hard to disclose people's accent.
Yeah.
And that is the most Boston accent I have heard in my entire life. It was so clear he was from Boston.
Yeah. So then we get to the elimination, and in a shocking twist, Miss Monster was eliminated from the competition.
I felt devastated because I think you and me agree it should be a White Tiger, right?
I thought it was academic, to be honest.
Right.
Because, and I think, and I think it was Robin Thicke who said it best, and he makes a good point when he said it. White Tigers was more of a performance,
right,
than singing, which is what Miss Monster did. But the name of the show is called The Masked Singer. That's what you're supposed to do.
Not party entertainer.
Right.
Right. You know, it's just like, but yeah, no, we were right. The identity of Miss Monster was Shaka Khan. So I'm very
Shaka Khan.
So I still think Turtle is the one that I said last week. What was it?
You said it was somebody from a boy band.
Right, boy band man. I don't remember. Kangaroo, I still don't have a clue.
White Tiger, Rob Gronkowski.
It's 110% why.
It really is.
It is. But like you said, next week will be interesting because then we finally meet the
new. Oh, it's the Super 9. That's what it is.
Super 9 was.
Super 9. So next week we get the debut of the banana, the elephant. I actually like the elephant's costume.
Mm-hmm.
That looks tight. The frog, the kitty, the mouse, and the taco.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, and if the mouse goes out and it is a Miss White Trash herself, 2006, 2003, Paris Hilton. So then we said so.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh, they also announced during the episode, and this is important.
Yeah, they will go on tour.
Yeah, they're going on tour. I wonder how they're gonna do this. Are they gonna actually get some of the contestants to come back and do this?
No. I think what they will do. This is my. I guess I'm just guessing here. So this is totally me guessing. There's absolutely no there's no need to go on a tour if everybody's unmasked. Is there? Wouldn't that be kind of the point lost? Because then you just come in here. Because I think it's probably going to be the one that's all the 9 that's in the group of the last 9 or something. Probably. That gets to go on tour, and I was like, there's no. Then it just becomes a concert with people you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I think maybe they will tape this and make it into a thing.
So this is what they are describing what this tour is, and they do have a site. It's themaskedsingertour.com. This is an all-new live production based on the hit TV show. The Masked Singer National Tour is coming to a city near you. Your favorite characters from the hit Fox TV show brought to life live on stage, as well as surprise celebrity hosts and amazing new performances. Can you guess who's behind the mask? A mystery celebrity will be unmasked in every city in this can't-miss spectacular live show for audiences of all ages.
Yeah, so they are doing what I thought I did.
Mhm.
We're going to do. Yeah.
The first date of the is May 28th in Detroit. They actually will be coming into my area in early June. June 10th in Baltimore at the Hippodrome Theater. June 11th at the Warner Theater in Washington, D.C. I'm contemplating if I want to go or not. The only thing is, it's right near the end of the school year for me, and, it's like, oh, do I want to go see this?
How expensive is it for a ticket?
Okay, I'm going to check the Warner Theater one. Okay, so you got to go through Ticketmaster or Live Nation, whatever. Cheapest seats that I'm seeing right now are $59.90.
Okay, not too bad.
Let's see, what are the most expensive seats? Oh,
I'm going to guess.
How much?
Yeah, well, I'm going to guess $200, maybe.
$79.50.
Wow, that's cheap.
That's not bad.
No.
Oh no, I'm
I
sorry.
don't
Hold on, we got more.
Oh. Okay.
I guess if you're like in the orchestra, it's over $200+. Oh, but
Right,
it comes with
that
a
was-
VIP package. Sorry.
Right, I thought so.
So if you're
You
not
get to meet
doing
people.
if you're not doing the VIP package, the most expensive is $139.50.
That's not bad at all.
No, that's not bad.
No,
That's not bad. So,
I would pay that.
I'll think about it, see if I want to go or not. If I do go, I know someone that will want to go with me, so that won't be too hard.
Yeah, me.
Yeah, I know.
I will go.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. So, patrons, if we get to 60,000, we will.
There you go.
We will fly Fro out. Yeah.
Yep, for his first American concert.
Mm,
Oh, man. All right,
that would be.
that would be pretty interesting. All right, let's get back into the news here. This one is for all you who have kids. John Cena and The Rock are nominated for upcoming Kids' Choice Awards.
Mm.
Dwayne Johnson is nominated for Favorite Movie Actor, and Jumanji: The Next Level is nominated for Favorite Movie. Meanwhile, John Cena is nominated for Favorite TV Host for Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
Oh, I didn't know he did that.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah, they brought it back. He's actually not that bad.
Oh, when did you start this again?
About a year ago.
Okay, cool.
The Kids' Choice Awards will be live on Sunday, March 22nd at 8 p.m. on Nickelodeon, while you sit there questioning your life choices of why you're watching a kids' award show.
Aww.
Ring of Honor announced this week. They actually announced a lot of things. They are going to do a tournament to crown the next Ring of Honor Women's Champion. The title will replace the Women of Honor title. So this is going to be a new championship. This is called the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship. So basically the Women of Honor title is dead. It's gone. It is not.
I think that's for the best, to be honest.
Yeah, it is. Especially after what we reported a while back. So.
Yep.
The tournament will begin on April 24th in Philadelphia.
In the streets of Philadelphia.
And not to be outdone, the Pure Wrestling title, which we've talked about the last few weeks, their tournament is going to begin also in the month of April. The pairings have not been announced yet, but we will be having two tournaments going on in Ring of Honor at the same time.
Cool.
Which is very interesting. I honestly cannot think of a time where a promotion has had 2 title tournaments going at the same time.
I think ECW did that once.
Maybe. You might be right on that one. Want to bring up AEW because we talked about Dynamite earlier this week. We had a surprise debut in Jeff Cobb.
Yeah. Nice to see him back.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure people are wondering, well, wait a minute. Why is Jeff Cobb in AEW when he's working with Ring of Honor? Well, right now, he is under a verbal agreement with Ring of Honor. And one of the things with his contract is that he could wrestle pretty much anywhere. And he is right now going to wrestle at AEW. He has a match next week against Jon Moxley. Jeff Cobb...
I'm really looking forward to, by the way.
Jeff Cobb is one of the best big men, I think, going today.
Oh, definitely. He's up there.
Yeah. So, Cobb and Moxley is going to actually be a pretty entertaining match next week.
I'm super stoked for that.
Yeah. AEW also announced this week that they are going back to Boston and Philadelphia in April. Tickets, I believe, went on sale today for those 2 shows, so you can check that out there. NWA, they announced that next week there won't be an episode of NWA Power because they're doing the first episode of Circle Squared, which is a tryout show, sort of like American Idol, where wrestlers will have opportunities to showcase their potential and to maybe end up being a part of the NWA roster.
Right. It's more tough enough than anything else.
It is. I'll watch that next week just to see how it is.
I am really looking forward to see if they can do it better than Tough Enough. But then again, that can be beaten pretty good.
Yeah, it can. It can.
Because that was a shit show.
Well, early on it was actually pretty good. But...
Well, last season was a bad show. It killed the podcast. It did! It literally did.
We are sad to announce that Kathy Kelly will be leaving WWE. Sunday will be her last day with WWE. She posted on Instagram today the following, and I'll read this. I've typed out and deleted this about 20 times over the past few days. Still unsure what to write. I have come to the decision to leave WWE, with Sunday's NXT Takeover being my last day. If you know me, you know this was more than a job. You know how much I loved it and how difficult this decision was. But sometimes, in order to have room for growth, you have to step away. I am so thankful for getting to live out a crazy dream the past 4 years. Thank you to the WWE digital team for being a platform that never stifled creativity. Thank you to Stephanie McMahon for being a mentor and inspiration in every way. Thank you to Triple H for heading up the best wrestling show currently on TV and letting me be a part of it. And thank you to everyone who has supported me, whether it's watching a video I've done or sending a tweet of encouragement. Words cannot begin to express how much it means. I'm not sure yet where my next chapter will take me, but I am damn excited for it. And I promise this isn't a goodbye, it's just a see you later.
Do you think she has plans for where to go?
I wouldn't be surprised if we see her on an elite wrestling program in the future.
I was thinking that, yeah.
And I did talk to Steve, and he's actually not sad about this.
Right.
Because he was thinking the same thing, too.
Right.
So, but good luck to Kathy. honestly,
Yeah,
I hope for the best.
I will miss her. Yeah, I will miss her.
Oh, real quick, XFL this last week did really good in the ratings.
Oh, it has started?
Yes. Week 1 was
Okay.
last week, and every game, with the exception of the last game, had over 3 million viewers.
Okay.
Which is pretty good.
I know absolutely nothing about this.
And, well, the next part is the big part.
Okay.
In 1 week, which is how long the 4 games, they have made more money than the Alliance of American Football made all of last year. And that league collapsed midway through the season. And I have to admit, bro, it was actually entertaining to watch those games.
Okay.
So I will be watching, well, at least I'll be watching the DC Defenders game this week, because they're going to be playing the New York, the Guardians, the New York Guardians. So I'll be watching that tomorrow and see if...
Is there any people that I would have heard about involved with this?
Well, Football Guy that does the pre-shows for NXT is on there. But he's a sideline reporter, so it's really not that.
I meant like on the teams.
No.
Okay.
No, you're not gonna know anyone.
Okay.
All right, so we have a brand.
I'm sorry. I'm going to ask. Welcome to Stupid Fro time.
Okay.
Are they going to have something in the effect of a Wrestlemania?
They're going to have a championship game.
Right.
In
like
I think it's like the end of April.
Okay.
And like the season, each team's going to play a total of 10 games.
And how many teams are there?
8.
Okay.
So it's not that big.
But wouldn't that make it? Let's do some math. You said it. How many teams did you say?
8 teams.
So if they played against each other once, that would be 7 times 4 is 14, 15. Wouldn't that make it 15 games?
No. What they do is they... Okay.
Math.
Yeah, this is math. I want to kill math.
Math.
Shayna Baszler biting. Let's make her a vampire. No, okay. So here's... this is how they're doing it. So there's 2 divisions. So let's say I'll use the Premier League for an example. You know how they have like 20 teams in the Premier League? If they had wanted to, they could split they could split it into 2 divisions of 10.
Okay.
So here we have 8 teams, and there's 2 divisions with 4 teams in it.
Okay.
So there's an East and a West.
Okay.
So I'll use DC Defenders as an example.
Yes.
They have to play each team in their division twice.
Right.
So that's 6 games right there. The remaining 4 games, they have to play against teams from the West Division.
Ah, okay.
But they only play them once.
Okay.
And that's how you get your 10.
Okay.
And then they'll do like a very, very short playoff where...
Oh, so you meant each team plays 10 games?
Yes, each team plays 10 games the regular season.
I was like, okay. I thought you meant 10 games all over through the 8 teams that was there, and that made absolutely no sense.
No.
I was like, That's not even one match each.
Right.
But if there's 5 in each, you said 4 in each division or 5?
4 in each division.
Right.
So they would play their division, the other teams in the division, twice.
Right.
So that's 6 games right there. Then...
I understand it. Yes, I understand it.
Okay, now you got it. Okay. All right.
So that means that all over in a year it would be 80 games.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it would. No. Wait a minute. Yeah, you're right.
Isn't that correct?
Yeah.
Am I doing bad math here? If each team play 10 games and there's 8 teams,
right,
it means that it's 80 games.
I believe you're right.
Right.
If we have a math professor here, please let us know if we're right or wrong.
No, I'm just saying if you say every team played 10 games and there's 8 teams, that makes 80 games.
Right. Okay. I see your point now.
That seems a lot.
Yeah. And I just wanted
How many days a week are they playing?
Once.
Once?
Yeah.
And the season goes from when to when?
Well, it started in February and it's going to go to April.
It ends in April?
Mm-hmm. Like, it's very short.
How is that possible that you play 80 games?
No.
Between then and now.
Collective 80 is played with 4... No, wait. Yeah, it's 4 games...
That's not possible. That's not possible because there's not enough Sundays in the month.
Okay, they play...
From now to April.
There's 2 games. There's 2 games on Saturday and 2 games on Sunday.
Okay, so it's 4 games a week.
Right. So it's actually 40 games. I don't know.
That makes absolutely no sense if they play 10 games each.
See,
and they play 5 games each.
Math is the reason why I dropped out of college. Why?
I also suck at math.
It's okay. It's alright.
No. Well, welcome to Idiots Do Math.
Right.
Mm-hmm. A new podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh God, I hope none of my teachers.
No, I was like, this doesn't make any sense. I was like, this doesn't go up.
I hope none of my coworkers are listening to this.
Yeah.
Oh well, I just wanted to bring up how they did in week 1, and they did really good against McMahon.
Yes.
So, I'm probably not going to bring it up again until they have their champion for the year. So.
Like their Super Bowl, yeah.
Their Super Bowl, basically.
So, I'm interested in seeing their Super Bowl.
All right.
Tell me when it is, and I will watch it with you.
I think it's the end of April, and it's not a late game, so you'll be able to watch the whole game.
Right.
It doesn't start
I watched
6 o'clock here, so.
I watched Super Bowl, so it's okay.
And you actually enjoyed it.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, that'll be. We'll do that on a future podcast. Which championship was better, the Super Bowl?
I think they will be. Well, they have to have very funny commercials and a very good halftime show.
I highly doubt we're going to get funny commercials for the XFL title game. All right.
What channel is it on? Sorry.
It is. Well, it's weird because they have it on multiple. Like, they have ESPN.
Right.
ABC.
So it's syndicated.
And Fox and Fox Sports 1.
Right, so it's syndicated.
Yeah.
Cool.
Pretty much.
Anyway.
All right.
Let's move on.
Let's move on.
Let's not talk more about math.
Yeah, no more math here because we have a brand new segment. So, I didn't even think about it until today because this weekend, this Monday, here in the United States, is President's Day, where we honor all the presidents of the United States with sales on televisions. No. Because we're officially on the road to WrestleMania, we always have this discussion of what's the best WrestleMania of all time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But one thing I thought about, and I've had this plan for over a year. Which era of WrestleMania is the best? Mm-hmm. How are we going to break this? We're going to do it by looking at the WrestleManias that were held during each U.S. president since the very first WrestleMania in 1985. So, each week, and we're doing this for 6 weeks, we have a wheel that I paid a lot of money for. I mean, I had to build it with my own bare hands.
Mm-hmm.
And once a week, we're going to spin the wheel, and it's the president. We're not going to get into what they did during their term, but we're going to look at the WrestleManias that were held during their presidency. Ultimately, Fro and I, we're going to rank all 6 based on the WrestleManias, not what they did in the office. That is very important to note. And we will determine, once and for all, which era of WrestleMania is the best based on who was in the White House.
I like that.
And we welcome you to the very first segment of Wrestling with Politics.
Wrestling with Politics. I like that.
So, I'm going to spin the wheel, and obviously whoever lands on this week is going to be number 1, but we'll talk about what what WrestleManias they had. So, with that, let's spin the wheel. All right. Today, it landed on the 44th President of the United States of America, Barack Obama.
I heard of him.
Yeah, I have heard of him too. So Barack Obama, to give everyone a quick background, in 2008 defeated John McCain to become the 44th President of the United States of America. He would serve 2 terms from 2009 to 2017. In 2012, he was the incumbent beating Mitt Romney. So, during Barack Obama's 2 terms as president, he had 8 WrestleManias under his belt. Now, because he is the first person that we landed on, for this week he is automatically number 1. But let's take a look at the WrestleManias that he had while in office. So, his first WrestleMania was WrestleMania 25, which has the classic Shawn Michaels Undertaker match.
One of my favorites.
AKA the greatest match ever.
Yep.
WrestleMania 26 has the rematch of Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, plus
also one of my favorite matches.
Right?
Yes,
plus a very good WWE title match between John Cena and Batista, and the Bret Hart Vince McMahon match where all the Harts were a lumberjack and Bret could not be hit in the head.
That was such a bad match.
But it's still a good WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah.
That is still a good WrestleMania. Then we hit our first bump in the road. WrestleMania 27. Yeah, one of the worst WrestleManias ever.
That's a bad one.
Where The Rock was the host of WrestleMania.
Yep.
was Edge's last match for 8 years.
Oh.
In a good match. It was a good opening match.
It was, yeah.
You had Jerry Lawler finally wrestling in a WrestleMania, only to lose by disqualification to Michael Cole because of the anonymous Raw GM.
I think that's one of the worst matches of WrestleMania of all time.
Well, that's going to be our list that we do this year, actually, Fro. Is our 5 worst WrestleMania matches ever.
I hate that match.
That's going to be a fun list to go through.
I hate that match.
This was also the WrestleMania that had Undertaker and Triple H. And the main event, that hot main event, The Miz against John Cena, where The Miz went over to stay the WWE champion, even though The Rock interfered, costing John Cena the match.
I mean, it started a trend that we'll see in the 2 next WrestleManias that I like. That's maybe why I hate this even more than the 2 next WrestleManias. It's because The Rock kind of interfered here and also destroyed the main event of the 2 WrestleManias. Yep. So the things he did here has kind of workings on the next WrestleMania, and I that was a period of WWE that I will think back of one of the worst periods was the back and forward of WrestleMania of John Cena and The Rock.
So then, his final WrestleMania in his first term is WrestleMania 28, or Once in a Lifetime.
Yeah.
Rock and John Cena.
So once.
We also had at that WrestleMania CM Punk defending the WWE title against Chris Jericho. In a good match. That was a really good match.
That was a good match.
Sheamus beating Daniel Bryan in 18 seconds to win the world title.
I still remember that kiss. It's so funny.
And The Undertaker against Triple H inside Hell in a Cell with Shawn Michaels as the guest referee in the end of an era which we still don't know what the era was. It
was the end of the era where we should care about Undertaker.
Maybe. For Barack's second term, it begins with WrestleMania 29, aka my first WrestleMania, where we had twice in a lifetime John Cena against Brock. We also had The Undertaker against CM Punk, Triple H against Brock.
One of the best and most wrong decisions in the of all time.
But it
CM Punk.
But it had the greatest. It had the greatest WrestleMania entrance, though, of all time.
I loved it. It's so good.
It really is. We also had The Shield making their WrestleMania debut, winning. I was very pumped then. Then we have WrestleMania 30, which we just discussed, both of us agreeing as on our list of the 3 greatest WrestleManias of all time.
Oh, definitely.
Daniel Bryan putting on a performance of a lifetime in 2 matches, plus The Undertaker finally losing at a WrestleMania to Brock Lesnar. We had the inaugural Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and a very interesting match with John Cena and Bray Wyatt. Then we have WrestleMania 31, where Seth Rollins cashes in the main event of WrestleMania to win the WWE title from Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. We also had Triple H battling Sting in Sting's long-awaited WrestleMania debut. Randy Orton in an actual good match against Seth Rollins.
I know.
And AJ Lee's last pay-per-view match as she teamed up with Paige to beat the Bella Twins. And then...
at least she went over.
Yep. And then his last WrestleMania as president, this is another bad bump on the road, WrestleMania 32, Roman Reigns beating Triple H for the WWE title. But it's not Roman Reigns' fault, it's just the situation that it was in. But we did have Shane McMahon against Undertaker, Hell in a Cell. We had Zack Ryder win the Intercontinental title in a ladder match.
I remember that.
And we had
I was very, very, very happy.
And we had AJ Styles' WrestleMania debut.
I know.
All right, so, Fro, the question for this week is Barack Obama number one on the list because he's the first one.
He's default.
By default, yes. Is he going to stay at number one by the time we finish this in about 5-6 weeks? Because I'm going to say no. And I'll tell you why.
I think so, no. I mean,
go ahead.
Some of my favorite WrestleMania matches is here. But all over, no.
I think the reason that he's not going to stay number one on this list eventually, he has 2 bad WrestleManias.
Right.
During his presidency. The one we just mentioned, 32, and 27, which is considered one of the worst WrestleManias ever. I think
it is one of the worst.
I think those 2 alone are going to eventually cost him his spot at number one. Because,
probably, yeah.
But the plus is he does have WrestleMania 30.
Yep.
Which is one of the better WrestleManias of all time. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see where he ultimately lands. But for this week, the Barack Obama presidency has the best era of WrestleMania ever. So tune in next week as we will spin the wheel again as we discuss another president of the United States and their WrestleManias. And of course, you guys can leave your thoughts as well on which president you think had the best WrestleManias. So, all right. So, Fro, we had a request to review something. We'll be honest, we normally don't get many requests, but when we do, folks, we try to fill them in for you, and we did here again. Pardon me. Nick Opalewski, who requested us to review that episode of Superstars from 1992, asked us during our winter vacation if we would review Brains Behind the Brawn, which is a Coliseum home video. And we said, absolutely, we would do it as soon as we had the time. Well, we don't have a pay-per-view to review, this week anyway, so we are going to go back to 1989. Do you remember 1989?
I do. I was definitely much alive.
I was only 3.5, going on 4.
I was older.
Yeah, you were much older. So
much older? Hey!
I'm just kidding. So, this is a very... I just want to say before we get into the review, this is a very interesting time because we're getting towards the end of the 80s, which is considered the golden era for the WWE. And one of the, I think, best marketing ideas they ever did was release home videos. Because in a way, it was them saying, okay, here's what's happened over the last several months. which is why, when I do the Coliseum Corners, which will come back hopefully real soon, it's a good way of like, oh, you're new to the product, or hey, you've been out of it for the last few months, here's what's been going on. So, it's a good way of doing it if you think about it.
Yeah, if I thought this video was good or not, we will talk soon about, but
right.
Yeah.
We will get to that at the end. So, this is on the WWE Network. If you guys do not own the videotape of it. I do own the videotape of it, but to be fair to Fro, I watched it on the network. So I was looking to see how much editing they did. So that's where I'm coming from for this.
Okay.
So, with that in mind, let's jump into Brains Behind the Brawn. So, our video begins with the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, talking about how this is a videotape about the managers and who we're going to see. We're going to see Bobby the Brain Heenan, my very dear close personal friend, and we're also going to see the lovely Miss Elizabeth, and we're also going to see my brother, the Dr. Style Slick, and then we're also going to see, Mr. Fuji-san. Yeah,
I mean,
no racism.
Let's bring this. Yeah, I was just going to say that. Let's bring up something right away. This video does not age well. Is that fair to say?
No.
Without like.
It's not weird at all.
No, I said, is it fair?
Oh, is it
to
fair?
Say yes, that it doesn't age very well.
What we're gonna see as we go on. So,
but yeah, no, it's kind of racist.
There are some points. Yeah, there are. So then they do the intro of the tape, and this is where edit number 1 comes in because they changed the theme song, which I expected. So I'm not going to complain about that. Then we have, Bobby Heenan's talking in a corner. Jimmy Hart's. Slick is talking in a corner. Mr. Fuji's talking in a corner. So they're all talking at the same time when Sean Mooney comes in. Hello, I'm Sean Mooney.
A very young Sean Mooney, by the way.
Very young. He stops the talking, and he welcomes us as well to this videotape, Brains Behind the Brawn, where we are going to take a look at the managers of the World Wrestling Federation. We're going to not only see some of the highlights that they have, but also hear comments from them. So that's a plus.
And I'm going to try to be very like positive and this was so fun, but I did not especially like this. But yeah, no, it made me think that sometimes when people are saying like, "Oh, remember the good old days?"
Depends on your version of good old days.
Right. It depends very much on the good old days that you're referring to, because I'm not sure if you watched this and thought this was good right nowadays. Because this is a video from 1989. 89? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you said it, yeah. And I mean, I was 10 years old right then. And I'm 40 right now. So it's 30 years ago plus.
Yeah.
And things that are in this video is so dated.
Oh, yeah.
It is so incredibly dated.
So we go to our first manager, which happens to be Bobby the Brain Heenan. And he talks about how he is the most cunning manager in the WWF because he has guys like Andre the Giant, who he got him the title match at WrestleMania 3. Ravishing Rick Rude, who has the most magnificent body. He also has the Brainbusters, who will get him the World Tag Team titles, he says, which they eventually do, by the way. And he also has the King of the World Wrestling Federation, Haku. And then he talks about his latest acquisition, the Brooklyn Brawler, and how at one point he had the Red Rooster, and how it
I love that he brings up the Red Rooster.
Mm-hmm.
I laughed so much when he brought that up as a good thing. I was like,
yep.
yeah, this doesn't date very well.
Right.
But I don't think we should take it play by play.
No.
Go a little faster.
Yeah. Okay, so we go through everything that happened to WrestleMania 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go to a part that really does not age well. A segment where Ted DiBiase buys a slave.
Yep.
And it happens to be Hercules. So,
my, oh my.
Bobby Heenan sold a guy for slavery. Now this part I didn't notice, but it's on a website here. There is one part where they edited out where apparently Rick Rude kissed a woman in the crowd. So that's a minor edit, but it is still edited out. Then we have the pose down between Rick Rude and Ultimate Warrior from the Royal Rumble. And this is where the third and final edit comes in because they edit Rick Rude's theme. Oh my god, it is the worst.
It's very generic.
Oh, it's the worst. Now, we get to the Red Rooster. So
why even bring this up? Like, was it that freaking big back then?
Well, the story to that is Bobby Heenan saw Terry Taylor as a guy who was an okay wrestler, had limited ability, limited skills, but if he took him under his wing and gave him confidence and called him the Red Rooster, he could do something with it. So we go to this match from Saturday night's main event, where it's the Red Rooster against Tito Santana. And for the first time ever, we have mic'd up a manager. Better choice than Bobby Heenan.
This is not very smart.
And so they do. So they have the match. You see them fighting. Santana wins. After the match, Heenan argues with Rooster, and Rooster beats up Bobby Heenan. Then we go to Primetime Wrestling, where Bobby Heenan admits he's wrong, and Gorilla Monsoon's reaction is the best. He's like, "Wait, you're admitting you're wrong?" I love that part. So Bobby Heenan's like, "Look, how about we do this? You go your way, I'll go my way. It's done." So they shake hands, and then Bobby Heenan slaps the Red Rooster, and then from behind comes the Brooklyn Brawler, who not only hits Rooster with a stool, but he also hits Gorilla Monsoon with a stool, knocking Gorilla out. And then he goes on to beat up the Red Rooster. So that's the segment on Bobby Heenan. So our next manager that we're going to talk about is Jimmy Hart. And he talks about how he's got videotapes, he's got computers that help him strategize, look for strengths and weaknesses in other opponents. And then we go to some clips. We have Bret Hart. He has a match on Superstars, and he tells Jimmy Hart to leave, which Jimmy Hart eventually does. Then we go a little bit longer to where Jimmy Hart is there again. Bret Hart asks him to leave. And then Jim Neidhart comes out and tells Jimmy Hart to leave. Then we have one more time where the Harts are in a tag match. Jimmy Hart is watching. And after the Hart Foundation win, Jimmy Hart is like, "You'll never win the tag team titles, baby. You'll never win them as long as you're not with me." So then we go to SummerSlam where the Hart Foundation face Demolition and Jimmy Hart gets involved in the match. Hart Foundation lose to Demolition because of Jimmy Hart's megaphone. Earlier on that show, the Honky Tonk Man defends the Intercontinental title against what we don't know. It ends up being the Ultimate Warrior. Honky Tonk Man gets squashed. Ultimate Warrior wins the Intercontinental title. Then it
was nice to see Ultimate Warrior again, I will admit that.
Yeah. Then we go to Superstars, where Ultimate Warrior is being interviewed, where Jimmy Hart comes out and distracts him. And Honky Tonk Man hits the Warrior with his guitar on his leg, and then delivers a headshot with the guitar, and it was so freaking loud.
It was extremely loud.
But it was good. It was done well.
Yeah.
So
you bought it right away.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So then we go to our next manager, which is the Doctor of Style, Slick. Slick talks about how he has the Russians, Nikolai Volkov and Boris Zukov. He also has the Big Boss Man, and how he has transformed the one-man gang into Akeem, which we will get into a little bit later. So
one man. Oh, it was gang, not band.
Yeah.
Aww.
So we start with the Bolsheviks singing the Russian national anthem. Okay.
That was so funny.
And then we go to the Brother Love show, where the guest is Hulk Hogan.
Yes.
And this is a good segment. I like this segment.
It is very good. It's very funny, and it's very, very good. I love it.
Because of what happened the last time Hogan was on the Brother Love show, Brother Love has some protection in the form of the Big Boss Man, and Slick is there with him. So Slick and Hogan have a verbal altercation, and then Boss Man beats the crap out of Hogan, and Slick sprays something into Hogan's eyes. And Hogan gets beat up on this guardrail, but Hogan comes back and chases them away.
Mm-hmm.
Then we go to this part. This is the last part on Slick. So, Mean Gene Okerlund is on assignment. And he is told that he is going to deepest, darkest Africa.
This is so cringe. This is so cringe.
We're in the back parking lot of some street. So here's Slick. He has his boombox. And I love this interaction. He's like, Slick comes out, he's like, "What's up, brother?" And Mean Gene is like, "What's up, cousin?" So, Mean Gene Okerlund had his honorary black card since 1988. So, Slick talks about how tonight we are going to see a transformation. And he switches the tape, starts playing a song, and there's a jungle tribe dancing around a barrel with fire.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get the transformation, and it's Akeem! And then you hear...
What a shock!
And then you hear the tribe members going, Akeem, Akeem, Akeem. And then Mean Gene says, "Wait a minute, I know him. That's the one-man gang." And then Slick's like, "Don't you ever call him a one-man gang again." So we get this very interesting promo from Akeem. He's saying how he is a new man. He is reborn. I mean, I got to give credit to One Man Gang, Akeem. Yeah, that's a pretty racist gimmick, but man, he plays that perfectly. So Slick and Akeem leave, and Mean Gene leaves before the Jungle Tribe become cannibals. Then we go to our next manager, Mr. Fuji, who talks about how he led Demolition to the World Tag Team titles and then got rid of them because they were soft, and how he's going to lead the Powers of Pain to the Tag Team titles. So we go to WrestleMania 4, where Demolition win the Tag Team titles, And then we go to Survivor Series, where we see Mr. Fuji turning his back on Demolition, and then Demolition beating him up, only for the Powers of Pain to help Mr. Fuji, and that's how Mr. Fuji joins Demolition. Or Powers of Pain, I mean. Then we go to, and I'm hoping Michael Quinn is listening to this, Frenchie Martin, who is the manager of Dino Bravo. And we get, are you ready for this, folks? We get a Dino Bravo promo on a videotape on managers.
I have never ever seen this promo before. And I was like, what is
this
going on? I was like, what is this? Am I having a bad acid trip or something? I was so freaking confused. Because I was like, who is this guy?
Because Frenchie Martin is like, the manager did a we'll take on the
He doesn't talk. But he doesn't talk. He can't speak. He's not supposed to do promos. It is atrociously bad. It is atrociously bad.
We want Hulk Hogan, Randy Macho Man Savage, Jake Roberts, Andre the
Giant. But it's not even that, Bill. It's just like it's a bunch of absolutely nonsense.
And this is a videotape on the managers. And we get a Dino Bravo promo.
Yeah, why was he there? I was like, I don't understand this at all. I was so confused.
Frenchie is on TV for like 2 more months after this tape comes out, and then he's gone. So,
aww.
Then we see Dino Bravo's unofficial world bench press record lift from the 1988 Royal Rumble. Now, to end the videotape, we're going to showcase Miss Elizabeth. However,
and I was like, okay, this is going to be nice.
However,
I don't really know so much about Elizabeth, so yeah, nice. But then,
however, she did not want to appear on the tape because she is distraught over the breakup of the Mega Powers.
Really?
And she's on the cover!
It is so stupid!
She's on the cover of the tape!
Oh, I was so disappointed.
And Sean Mooney is like, now we'll see moments of why we fell in love with Miss Elizabeth from the very first time we saw her.
Oh, this is so bad.
So we go to WrestleMania 4, the finals of the tournament, Savage and DiBiase. Elizabeth runs to the back to get some help. Comes out to be Hulk Hogan. Blah, blah, blah. Savage wins the title. Savage gives the belt to Elizabeth. Elizabeth is crying. Then we go to SummerSlam, where the Mega Powers are facing the Mega Bucks. And we get... And I still remember when I saw this for the first time. This was an oh my god moment for me. Miss Elizabeth taking her skirt off her dress. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
See, this is why I will... When I will always defend Elizabeth on best looking women in wrestling history. Because she was naturally beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Naturally beautiful. And then this distracts everybody in the ring. Hogan, Savage get up. They beat the Mega Bucks. And then we go to Survivor Series, where Elizabeth gets the handcuff keys from Slick, unlocks Hulk Hogan. Savage is getting beat up. Savage falls back into Hogan. Hogan makes a tag. Boot, slam, leg drop, Mega Powers win. And that is basically brains behind the brawn, because after Sean Mooney leaves, the 4 main managers talk, and that's the end of the tape. We pretty much reviewed that in under 20 minutes. Maybe under 15.
I am going to admit this was very, very hard for me to sit through.
Okay.
I had to do this in multiple viewings because I have absolutely like you know I came into
Right. All right. So you. We've lost Fro, everyone. We were getting his. Are you there, Fro? Hello, Fro. All right, we're gonna have to join you guys in a second. So you had to watch it multiple times. It was hard to sit through.
right. Yes,
Where do you think, for you, the problem was with this?
I think it is a combination of more things.
Okay.
First and foremost, I came into wrestling pretty late.
Yeah.
I'm not American, so for me, I didn't grow up with this, and I don't really have a relationship with the people that's on screen. I know them as people in the Hall of Fame or or things like that. Like I didn't follow the storylines back then, and I'm not one of those that has gone back and seen every single match and things like that.
Right.
So for me, it's hard to keep my interest when I don't know who everybody is. Of course, I knew most of them, but it's like, yeah. But I think, like I said, it is 30 years ago. This tape came out, and it shows. It shows in quality, and it shows in the way they cover a lot of topics.
Yeah. Was there any part that you did like?
Yeah, I liked everything that wasn't racist.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, here's my thoughts on this. First off, it's a good idea to have a videotape on the managers. It is a good idea. Having Bobby started off was a good idea because he's obviously the biggest name manager-wise.
Right.
It's after you pass Bobby, because a lot of this is footage of Bobby Heenan. After you pass it, it's like Jimmy Hart has just a little bit. Slick has a little bit. Mr. Fuji has very little. Frenchie Martin
a little too little. Yeah.
Frenchie Martin has next to nothing. Elizabeth, who should have been at the end. I like that she was at the end. She has a little bit. So basically what you have is you've got the bookends right.
Right.
The middle was okay, except there were some parts that should have maybe been a little bit longer. I think Jimmy Hart should have been a little bit longer. I think Slick should have been a little longer. I think Mr. Fuji should have gotten a little bit more time. And it's almost like, and this is no disrespect meant whatsoever to Frenchie Martin, what the hell is he doing on the tape? Just because he's a manager and the only thing you have is, the bench press, that's not much. Plus, also, the fact that the promo that Frenchie is supposed to do ends up being a Dino Bravo promo doesn't really help at all. And then to have Elizabeth there, and then because she is on the front cover. If you haven't seen it, it's on our Instagram page. We do have the cover of the videotape there. You don't have the person who's on the cover of the videotape on the video. That's not good. That's not a good decision. I know you're going storyline-wise, but still, she's got to be on the tape. So, my overall thoughts is good beginning, good ending. The middle is the worst part.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And yes, some of this stuff does not age well. You know, like the transformation of Hakeem, even though, you know, Slick getting upset that he calls him the gang, you know, that didn't age well. I think the opening with Jimmy Hart didn't age well. So it's almost like you have the bread and then you have the middle of the sandwich tastes terrible.
Mm.
That's exactly what this tape is. So,
But yeah, what do you give it out of 10?
it's not the worst thing I've ever seen.
No.
Because like one part that I like said line for line was the contract signing for WrestleMania 3, and Hogan's like, sign it if you're gonna sign it. Like I did that and I gave myself a chuckle. I give it like a 4.5, maybe a 4.
Yeah, I gave it a 3.
Yeah, that's about right. If you do want a good Coliseum video on managers, there's a very old one called Wrestling's Amazing Managers where they dive through a lot more managers than they did here. And they actually have matches on there, so I do recommend you guys checking that out if you have the WWE Network. If not, go to eBay, find the videotape, or if you know people that sell it on Blu-ray like I do, hit them up.
Yeah.
All right. We have one more thing to discuss. This Sunday is NXT Takeover Portland. 6 matches on this card. And we have a special performance from Poppy.
Poppy!
I have no idea who she is. I'm going to look her up while we discuss
Oh,
this
she's a
match.
very big YouTube star. She's a big YouTube star.
Let's
She
see.
is weird.
She's weird. Okay. Let's see. Okay, she's been on. Okay, TV-wise, she's been on Jesse and Impulse. She's released 3 albums already.
Yep.
Uh,
And she has her own YouTube movie that I actually recommend. If you want to be disturbed into your soul, I think you should watch it.
I'd rather not. I'd rather not right now.
It is surely something.
She has talked about her gender identity, saying, quote,
Uh-huh.
I haven't figured it out, but I'd like to stay gender neutral. I don't want to classify myself. I'm just Poppy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
And that is her thing. I am Poppy.
Oh my god.
She goes and say that in every video. She's scary as F.
Well, for being 25 years old, I guess she would be.
Uh-huh.
All
She's
right.
also very pretty.
So that'll be my piss break.
Mm-hmm.
All right, first match, Johnny Gargano against Finn Balor.
Gargano.
I think this one's gonna go like a couple more, so I'm gonna say Balor.
Okay.
Next match, this should be a fun match.
I don't mind being wrong here, by the way.
Okay. Tegan Nox versus Dakota Kai in a street fight.
This is for nothing, right?
This is for nothing.
You go first.
They had a match a few weeks ago on TV.
Yeah.
Nox got the win. I'm gonna say Dakota Kai gets the win to even this up.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to go opposite because I will go opposite.
All right, so you're going to go Tegan Knox.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we have the NXT North American Championship. Keith Lee defending against Dominik Dijakovic.
I'm going with the champ here.
This is going to be the first time we agree on something. I'm going with the champ as well. Keith Lee just won the belt. Although I do expect this to be a very good match.
I do too, but it's silly. I don't want hot potato wrestling. We talked about this many times before.
Right.
So.
Then we have the NXT Tag Team titles. Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish of Undisputed Era defending against Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne, the Broserweights.
The Broserweights. It's a very nice and cool title, by the way. I like it. But yeah, no, I am going to stick with the champs here as well.
I think we're going to get new champions on this one.
Really?
I think Riddle and Dunne are going to win the tag titles.
I don't mind being wrong here.
All right. Then we have the NXT Women's title match. Rhea Ripley defending against Bianca Belair.
Oh, this is hard. This is so hard because of what they did to her in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, because Belair had an unbelievable performance.
Yeah, amazing. What do you think?
Here's my thing.
Mm.
Last year, if you remember, we saw Belair in 2 championship matches. And she was not that good on those occasions.
No, she was not.
I think NXT saw that, and they're like, okay, she's not ready yet. We got to give her more time.
Right.
It's been a year. Let's see if she's ready to perform in a big match situation. That's what I'm looking for. And yeah, you brought up a very good point. What do you do with someone who had their breakout performance literally a month, not even a month ago?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Ripley wins the match, but Belair is not out of the title picture.
Okay.
Now, oh yeah, you got to make your pick.
I really don't know. I have a strange feeling that let's see. This is the last one before WrestleMania, right?
Well, they have that takeover like the night before WrestleMania.
Right, that's what I meant.
Yeah. Then yeah, this is the last one before WrestleMania weekend.
She kind of needs it for WrestleMania weekend. No, I'm going to stay with the champ as well.
All right. Let me ask you this then. Is this the night Charlotte makes her decision?
Yes.
And the main event of this takeover, Adam Cole defends the NXT title against Tommaso Ciampa.
This is also hard. Again, I will think, and you can discuss with yourself.
This is a very interesting situation because Adam Cole is one of the probably 5 hottest wrestlers going today.
Oh, definitely.
Been on a roll. But Tommaso Ciampa was so good as NXT champion, he never lost the belt. He had to surrender the belt. So the question is, do you go with the guy who, since the end of spring, has been the hottest wrestler going?
Right.
Or do you give the belt back to a guy who never lost it? But then you also have to factor, well, if something happens, do they face each other at the next takeover, which is very possible.
Right.
So I'm going to say Cole's going to retain the title, but I would not be upset if Ciampa won.
I'm going with Ciampa then, just because.
Right. All right. And that is our preview of NXT Takeover Portland. And we will...
It's going to be good.
Yeah,
That's
it should be a good show. It really should be a good show. I mean, the fact that they're actually given an extra match just says, okay, we trust you guys. You know, go put it out there. So.
And for people like me, this is Sunday, not Saturday.
And I don't have to go into work the next day, so I can sleep in after.
Nice.
All right. Well, on that note, that's going to wrap it up for this week. So let's get into the... Oh, we got something else?
I said wrap it up.
Oh, all right. We're getting into the plugs. If you guys have any questions or comments, send an email, wrestlingman@thatwrestlingshow.com. Follow the show on Twitter at WrestlingShow11. Join our Facebook group. It is That Wrestling Show fan group. You type that in the search bar. You are right there. And if you can't find us, it's okay. I post a link in the description box of every episode, so you can copy the link and go from there. Visit our Instagram account. It is instagram.com/thatwrestlingshow. Just type That Wrestling Show, and you can add us. Check out the website, thatwrestlingshow.com, and visit the Patreon page, patreon.com/thatwrestlingshow, where if you sign up now, you can get, for just $3, our review of NXT Takeover Portland by this Monday before anybody else can hear it. So, Fro, what did you guys discuss this week on Another Digital Citizen?
Yeah, we skipped the main topic because we had so much to do this week. So we did some politics, we did some TV, we did some movies, we did some why isn't the Raspberries giving out the Raspberry Awards? And we talked about the results of a little thing called Oscars or something like that. Yeah. Did you see this?
I did. I didn't enjoy it, to be honest.
No, it was bad.
They had their worst ratings ever for the Oscars here.
Yep.
I think Joaquin Phoenix is still speaking at this time. You shouldn't artificially inseminate a cow, and you shouldn't take away a baby cow, and you shouldn't drink the milk from a cow. What the hell is going on?
What was it with him and milk that day? The one thing I was very happy about was that Parasite won almost all that it was nominated for, because that's one of my favorite movies of last year.
I plan on watching it this weekend.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk to you about it when you watch it, because we will definitely talk about it.
Yes,
it's good. It's good.
All right, let's talk about other podcasts that do exist in this world that we all love. Check out.
Other podcasts exist?
Well, I mean,
really?
The ones that you and I like. Yeah. We have Our Vantage Point, the Retro Wrestling Podcast with Joe Murata and Michael Quinn. They take you through the retro world of professional wrestling as only they can. This week, in the Influence segment, they discuss wrestling on pay-per-view. I've heard that the person that made that suggestion is quite a handsome gentleman, so you might want to check that out. Plus, week 2 of the Royal Flush of the worst managers of all time. See, makes it go around with our review today. And a review of World Grand Prix Wrestling from June 1989.
Wow.
That is a real thing. Check out our Vantage Point, the Retro Wrestling Podcast. Also, check out the Wrestling Podcast About Nothing with former referee Mike Crockett and Chaotic Wrestling owner Brian Fury. Brian Malonis is on the road this week. This week, they have an interview with Justin Shape McIsaac, who talks about his transition from being a wrestler into a broadcaster. So you'll get to hear about that. And they're getting very close to their 200th episode, so they're going to be hitting a milestone real soon. And
on the road again. Yes, baby, I can't wait to get on the road again.
And if you like your podcasts hosted by one individual, may I recommend Greetings from Allentown with your host PW Peter Winston. He watches one episode of professional wrestling each week in his own unique way and gives his insight onto what's going on in the episode and other stuff going on in his life. This week, he watches an episode of World Championship Wrestling from November 1st, 1986. So you're going to want to check that out. That is Greetings from Allentown. If you're looking for non-wrestling related podcasts, how about the Best Pick Movie Podcast with Tom, John, and Jess? They watch each Academy Award-winning Best Picture in no particular order. And of course, since we just had the Academy Awards this week, Parasite just went into the velvet bag, so at some point they will be reviewing that movie. However, this week they discuss what happened at the Oscars, and they discuss the Best Picture winner for 1949, All the King's Men.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That is a
love that movie.
Very good movie. I really
love that movie.
Do you want to know out of curiosity what it was up against?
Yes, please.
All right, because you guys can ultimately decide yourself, or as well, if the Academy made the right choice. So, besides All the King's Men, which won Best Picture that year, we also had Battleground, The Heiress, A Letter to Three Wives.
That's a good one.
And 12 O'Clock High.
Ooh, 12 O'Clock High is a good one as well. Many good movies.
I think they got it right, to be honest.
Oh, definitely.
Because All the King's Men is a very, very well done movie, and it hits really what's going on in today's society in general with the politics. So it's almost like a true story kind of movie, even though it's not a true story. So
right.
So check out the Best Pick podcast and listen to see if you agree or disagree. Check out Unspooled with Paul and Amy. They watch each movie from AFI's list of the 100 greatest movies of all time, the 2007 edition. This week, they discuss The Sound of Music.
The hills are alive. Yeah, good musical, yes.
I've seen bits of it. I've never seen it all the way through. So.
Oh my gosh. Oh. Well, I guess we can't be friends anymore.
I guess not. Toodaloo. No. We also have Last Stop Penn Station with Kerry Silkin. This week he talks about the Camel returning and also being in Japan. So that is the Last Stop Penn Station. Want to check that out. Also check out Shark's Pond, a South Park podcast, where I watch each and every South Park episode. This week I discuss preschool.
Yeah, and they have been in the news this week as well.
They have. What have they been in the news about?
There was this guy that wanted to cancel South Park. I don't remember his name. It's been in the news.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't remember who it was, like I said.
Oh, okay. And finally, eliminated a Royal Rumble podcast with myself and Jim Boy Star, where we watch and discuss every Royal Rumble match that has taken place. This week, we discussed the 2003 Royal Rumble match.
When am I getting more nostalgia, crew?
I've been very busy. Danielle's been very busy. I'll have to talk with her, see if we can figure out a time to get that back up, but I can't say at the moment. So
I really enjoyed the nostalgia, crew.
I know. A lot of people do.
Yeah. It's my favorite podcast with you that I am not on.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. If you ask me what it was a Marvel writer, by the way.
Marvel writer?
Slams. That slams South Park. Let me find it for you here. 2 seconds. Sorry?
No, I was going to say while you do that, next week on the show, week 2 of Wrestling with Politics, we'll spin the wheel and get another president to be discussed. Plus the wrestling news, our review of NXT Takeover Portland, and so much more. That'll be on next week's show.
Okay, so she tweeted, this is, I will link this to you. There you are. Your name is Bill. My name is Fro. There we go. You can read that to the audience.
Alright. Let's see. The headline. People are getting really mad over a South Park tweet. Okay, so let's see. Over the years, cartoons stirred up drama with a number of controversial episodes, blah, 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 blah. She-Hulk director Dana Schwartz has expressed her outrage at the comedy on social media. In a string of messages on Twitter, she fumed. In retrospect, it seems impossible to overstate the cultural damage done by South Park. The show that portrayed earnestness as the only sin and taught that mockery is the ultimate inoculation against all criticism. Smugness is not the same as intelligence. Provocation isn't the same as bravery. The lesser of two evils aren't the same. Dana then shared the creator's apology for their episode Man Bear Pig and added, It seems like South Park has been trying to reckon with this. I admit I haven't been watching the show in recent seasons, but I'm fascinated to see this. Closing off her rant, she wrote, To be clear, I don't blame the show itself as much as I do the generation of boys who internalized it into their personalities, which maybe isn't the show's fault. Since then, fans of the show have flocked to her socials where they defiantly defended the Comedy Central hit. It's a damn cartoon. Nobody sane would think behaving like Cartman is appropriate, but in context of the absurdity of the show, it's hilarious. Comedy is about pushing boundaries. Turn it off if you don't like it.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I'm definitely going to post this in the South Park Facebook group that we have. So
join that Facebook group, everybody.
By the way, yes, absolutely.
But yeah, no, I was thinking about you when I read this.
Well, since it came out today, this is brand new to me, so.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that note, everybody have a wonderful weekend. Have fun doing whatever you want to do. Don't forget to check out NXT Takeover this Sunday. And then come back here next week for another episode of That Wrestling Show, the only podcast where all pro wrestling matters. And as always,
Calvin and Hobbes is underrated.
You know, my neighbor has a hanged framed copy of the last comic that ever came out.
Oh, so good.
Yeah. Wrestle on.
Wrestle on.